Let's see. Hey, we have 5, by the way, so we got some new doors open. Still haven't found her husband. Okay, so we can now get in here. Ah, Grandpa. I don't know how you find the stamina to run around like you do. At least use the bike from the garage. From now on, I'll use the garage open in case you feel like cycling. Brain not functioning. All I want is cheeseburger. Table tennis. World Championship winner. Uh-oh. Yeah, Pong Ping might actually be related to the family. Also, I am realizing by repeatedly starting over like this, I am avoiding getting any EXP like this, but whatever. Okay. Use bike for fast travel. Yes. Iced Mountain. Robot will only get you 6 stars. Who are the other 2 characters? There's one more zone I haven't been to yet. Anyway, so now that we've got the bike, that makes this easier. Because effectively, I'm just going to try Brobot until we get Brobot. Then I'll try out Brobot's ability. And then we're probably going to bail. Because, yeah, at this point I can beat the game. I don't know what the last couple level ups are. I'll probably get them on the next run, because I'm going to do a full run for the Toxic. Or Toxic, the Tropical Paradise. I guess we could beat it with Brobot, see what his abilities are. Ask a question. I know the password. Son of a... Yeah, so we've got to pretend we're a robot. But then, yeah, it's got to be the math question. Man. I mean, I'm glad we've got the bike. This would be really frustrating without it. Okay, use the bike for fast travel. Got Ice Mountain. Then we should be good. Did Twitch exist 5 years ago? Yeah. I think Twitch has been around for 7 or 8 years at this point. Yeah. June 2011. Yeah, I'm not going to say I was an early adopter to Twitch, but I think I started streaming on it when I was a year into YouTube. And at that point, a number of people had already been around for quite some time. It works. I probably should have been an earlier adopter on both, because I knew about both platforms. I was just... Well, in terms of YouTube, I was just like, oh, yeah, I mean, that's a cool hobby project, but I got other things to do. And then Twitch, I just didn't want to start streaming. Oh, right, because I didn't have the internet for it. And I was poor as dirt. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay. I'm a robot too. Super... Oh, I can calculate super hard, huge, complex numbers. 954... I don't actually know if this is how this works. But I'm just gonna calculate these myself. Just in case. Okay, so 954,864 times 93,154 is a stupidly high number. Okay. Oh, well that's easy. The answer is the top one. Wow, superior machine detected. Slave mode, waiting for orders. Follow me. Let me use those shiny missiles. Cool. Alright, so I got Brobot. Finally! Thank you, Wildemar Kid, for gifting a sub to Icefire. Today is the day of the gifted subs. Yesterday was the day of the resubs. Or was that Monday? That was Monday. I was not paying any attention yesterday, because yesterday was the day of playing with new friends. Which is fun. Oh, right, and then we actually have to get through this. Well, alternatively, let's just... Let's try out Brobot, and then probably just leave. Suddenly I really want to play like a mech-ish type game. Kind of a shame Hawken never turned out to be as good as it could have been. Yeah, I'm not really too keen on... Oh, I see. That's how he works. Not too keen on Brobot. It's an interesting character. But still. Let's go back. And we're gonna go grab Golden Gun, run through that first level, then go to that second thing. Because I think we've got the 6 stars. I don't need to die or beat a run to actually get those, or beat a run. Unless I'm mistaken, at which point we do just go re-recruit Brobot again. I think that worked, though. I guess let's find out if I've got 5 or 6. Should have worked. Yeah, we got 6. Perfect. Okay, so we want to go this way. Yeah, I need 8, but I have to go get them from another zone that I haven't been to yet. Let's see. So, are Moose and Joe friends you made since you're moving, or have you been planning a co-op for a while? Bit of column A, bit of column B. So, for those of you that don't know, we played Astroneer with Moose and Joe, they're pair of streamers, last night. It was really fun. I guess it's up on YouTube at this point. But so, let's see. Technically, they are actually going to be within the same city that I'm going to be moving to very shortly. Oh, I gotta find the friend box. And so they're kind of friends due to where we're moving. Though I would honestly say, I guess I didn't even know that they were functional. Okay, so let's back up. So I've actually known who Joe is for years. Back in the day when I was just starting my YouTube channel, I was looking at other YouTubers that covered similar games as me. And if I remember right, Joe was very big on Nuclear Throne. And so it was one of those where I had actually sent him a message, actually like 3-4 years ago, being like, "Yo, you wanna do stuff together at some point?" And I never got a response, and I was like, "Yeah, whatever. It's not that big of a deal." He seemed busy anyway with a kid, and I think he was doing webcomic stuff at the same time, and like some other things. And so I never pressed the issue, and also I had a fairly broad group that I was already playing with, so it wasn't that big of a deal. And so then he shut his YouTube channel down, more or less. I think he got really sick of how YouTube really, like, when it comes down to it, people generally only watch like 1 or 2 series on YouTube at a time, and if you get really big with like one series, people will only watch that series. It's actually kind of a serious issue for a lot of people, and it can get kind of disheartening if you're not used to it. Hey, Vec, welcome. I am grumping about how YouTube works. So for me, I got really big with Scrap Mechanic, for example, and was getting like tens of thousands of views per episode, which, I mean, honestly is pretty small beans if you compare it to Game Grumps or anything like that. But after a certain point, I said to myself, like, I legitimately have to stop playing this game, because if I keep playing it, Where's the slimes? There's supposed to be slimes in here. I have no idea. But, you know, I have to stop doing this or it's going to eat my channel, that people are only going to watch this one thing. And I was right, and more or less, I'm not going to say saved my channel by doing so. I actually kind of screwed myself over, because this is right before the adpocalypse, but whatever. And so in Joe's case, he got really big with Nuclear Throne, and that was the only thing anybody wanted to watch from him. Which is really disheartening if you say want to play other games, and don't want to just be, well, I mean, I guess Sleep Cycles and or Northern Lion, both of those guys, very much were, like, very big on their one roguelike. I mean, honestly, Northern Lion's got a lot more than just that. I think he got really big with PUBG and some other things, and I think he's branching out a bit more now. But for years, yeah, for Northern Lion, it was straight up Isaac, and I think it still is, to some degree. I think there was also, like, Shiny Rayquaza. Tried contacting him for a collab. That never went anywhere, but that's fine. Let's see, that's where I came from. They shuffled the design around just a smidge. I could go out that way, but I'm pretty sure the boss door is, like, literally right here. So I'm just gonna beeline super hard. And so, yeah, if you are one of those channels that gets mired in one game, and there's no, like, logical conclusion to it, it can actually be a bit maddening. You know, especially if 10 times the amount of views you normally get is all localized on that one series. Stop playing Robocraft at the height of it, and you can see it ended up being like Minecraft for many peeps, and you still get people asking when you'll play it again. Yeah, I liked Robocraft kind of, but definitely not enough to, like, justify playing it that much. It also sounds like it got a lot worse over the years, but I still get messages from people asking me to play Fallout again, or Scrap Mechanic, and it's actually kind of hard. In a lot of cases, people have legitimate reasons, or there's, like, a legitimate reason to go back to some of them, because Scrap Mechanic keeps expanding and Fallout gets some neat new mods, but it's like, I just gotta play new things. I gotta be someone a little bit different. Alright, so let's go to Tropic Island, and let's hope recruiting the people here is gonna be easy. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, so one thing I noticed with a lot of people is they get stuck in this mire, you know, effectively. They can't play anything else, and their audience, you know, straight up won't switch over. So they just quit. And I always feel kind of really bad for those people. I had a friend, Luop, we were doing 7 Days to Die about 2 years ago, actually, at this point. That was a fun game. I'd like to play it again. I think that was 2 years ago. It might have been last year. Yeah, it was last year. Damn, it was really only a year ago. But so we were doing some things together, and we were including him in a lot more. But he was kind of pulling back because people only wanted to watch his one singular series, Scrap Mechanic. And in the end, it was too much for him. I think he pretty much stopped. I think he had other extenuating circumstances, but it's always a little sad to just see people get kind of spit out by the YouTube system that way. The AC broke down a few days ago. So hot. Isn't there a way to fix your AC? Sure, call a repairman. I'm sure he'll love being harassed by all those beach monsters on his way here. I miss the good old days when kids would safely spend their days playing on this beach. I'm playing just fine on this beach. Says the violent weirdo hitting random stuff with his stick. You're talking ice cream, how? Oh, I see. You can talk to dogs and nobody raises an eyebrow, but talking ice cream seems funny to you? About that thing on top of your head. Yep, pretty sure I'm dead thanks to the heat. Sadly, no ice cream paradise for me now. I'm stuck here. Stuck here? Why is that? Well, our creamy and delicious physical envelope is only temporary. We live only to bring joy to kids, then our soul goes to super fresh paradise. But I'm all melted and disgusting. I'm not going to bring joy to anyone. Try me. Of course. Of all kids, I get the weirdo. Thank you. Alright, let's turn my frown upside down. Alright, well that was easy. Oh, his portrait is adorable. As a gamer, I'm easily distractible. I flick between games constantly, so having channel focused on a single game is terrifying for you. Yeah. I too am a variety gamer at heart. It's just so much more fun. There's so many things to play, and so, like, I don't know, I see advice of, like, oh, just dive in on Fortnite, dive in on Apex League, and I'm like, alternatively, I could play, I don't know, whatever this game is. I've actually forgotten the... Oh, wait, Journey to the Unexpected. There we go. And I mean, honestly, this is going to be like a 6-8 episode series at best. But, I mean, it will be fun. I had some fun. Well, it is fun. Limited, and, like, I have grumps, but it's fun. Oh, this is quick. But yeah, being genre-focused can be good for you. I know a number of people that are, like, strategy channels. Even then, like, I don't think I could be a genre-focused channel either. Like, I like sandbox games, but I like roguelikes, but there's no way I just only play roguelikes. That would drive me nuts. Drive Shell nuts. Ow. Is it just the same crashed thing? Okay, so this region is a bit spookier. That sound effect only came from one. Seems like Cheeky Chooks. That was a weird game. I'm very glad I just hacked up the speed and said, "Eh, close enough." Get out here. Yeah, I guess so. Probably see what the ice cream man is. Okay, so I don't want to buy any more. Give her a tip. Oh, thanks to the tips, the shop is expanded. Enjoy buying an additional cube. That's not... Why? That doesn't do anything. Look, a customer, how rare. Welcome, my smooth and elegant dance style will keep you company while you shop. Lucky you. Thank you. It's quite an investment, but traveling with friends is priceless. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's why buying an extra cube is meaningless. Like, it literally doesn't do anything. Because you get 2 for free just by entering a zone. Like, you'd have to actively ignore picking one up to have any reason to buy one of those. I take umbrage with this. I'm both confused and... What? Oh. I think I forgot about the ice cream. Hey, we have pistachio ice cream. I forgot about that. That's really good, actually. It's probably for if you want all 3 companions in the first zone. And that's, I think, completely useless, because that first guy is... That like, half-mutated guy is real bad. I'm flying right now. Wait for a bit and... Oh, one more try. Pretty sure you're not exactly a seagull. I know, I'm a skeleton for now. There's no way I'll go bananas like the other disgusting monsters here. So you're a monster, but you don't want to be one? A monster? Me? You're so rude I could cry. Lucky for you, I'm too busy to feel sorry for myself. Now leave me alone, you unfeeling yob. Ah, damn it. I guess let's go level up. What I'm probably going to do is just take the bike to get up here. Max speed. I will admit this is probably the fastest zone to get through, which is kind of nice. I'll probably take this as my... Yeah, I'll probably take this as my final route through. Whoa. Hi. Because, like, the little digger moles are kind of annoying, but they're not that big of a deal. And... what was the other enemy type? I forget. It wasn't threatening, whatever it was. Like, the digger moles are a bit spooky because their timing is off. But, well, I don't know, maybe they'll do the ice thing. I wish you could talk to them again to friend them. Unfortunately, we have to do it again. We have to start over, not exactly from the beginning again to get it, but whatever. Anyway, by the way, Wander, how did you find Vulcanoids? I thought it was neat, but it needs a lot more. It reminds me of most other... Damn it. I'm just gonna utilize that there. Those guys hurt. Vulcanoids is everything that I want in a survival sandbox game, without the sandbox that I like. It was... The concept of it is really cool, you know, the big mobile base, the steampunk stuff, and... I mean, honestly, it's the big mobile base is really cool. The main problem is just, like, one, it performed like garbage on my computer. I think I was getting, like, 20 FPS half the time, which was not pleasant. Probably shouldn't waste too much of his energy, but I figured I'd wipe those guys off the map at the very least. But yeah, it ran out of content way too fast. There's a couple other sandbox games that kind of do the same thing, where, I guess, honestly, Vulcanoids reminds me of Astroneer, when Astroneer first came out. Where, like, you get about, you know, 3-4 hours of content out of it, and then you realize the whole game's on loop, and then it gets kind of boring. Ow. And so it's one of those where it's like, it's a decent base if they actually make something of it. It's just, you gotta... I mean, it's kind of one of those where you just kind of have to wait until we get to that point. There we go. Because, like, no, towards the end of its life cycle, I think it'd be good. It's just, as it stands, like, you need a world to explore in a sandbox game. Subnautica is kind of the perfect example of an actually interesting world to wander around in. And I'm actually a little bit baffled that more sandbox games don't try and mimic it harder. I guess maybe it's one of those where it's just, it's one of those where it's hard to do a hand-designed survival sandbox game. You know, most people just want to do the procedural generate... Ow! I did not realize I was close enough for that. Alright, well, it's whatever. It was just wash, rinse, repeat. A very fun cycle, but quickly exhausted one. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that's more or less what we're experiencing here. It's like, it's not a bad game, it's a decent base for stuff, but... Yeah, I'm just gonna go with this. Alright, never mind. Oh, I got killed. Well, you know, in retrospect, dying here straight up doesn't matter. And making Subnautica takes work. Oh, really? Do we hit max level? Alright, there we go. So all of the gates are permanently open, so I can just beeline for the end now. Well, we gotta go recruit the, we gotta go recruit the skeleton lady, otherwise we can't do anything else. So, that's the first goal. Blah. Okay. But yeah, in like 3-4 years, well, 3-4 years. Well, no, let's be generous, 3-4 years. I bet Vulcanoids would be a lot of fun, but you gotta get there. Yeah, Sarah. Let's go see if we can recruit Sarah this time. Or keep trying over and over. I don't know, we'll see. It's because Subnautica's oceans feel so wondrous and absolutely hostile. First always feels like if you don't watch yourself, the world will immediately kill you stone dead. Kinda? For me, Subnautica was much more about, like... It was a world that I was interested in exploring. To go back to Vulcanoids, it was not. You know, there's nothing there. Oh, right, it was the pigs. Here. That was the other enemy type that was ultimately forgettable. Let's go with Vulcanoids. There was very little world, there were a couple of volcanic caverns, and there were like 3 resource types that you had to get. And that was it. And so it's like, okay, well, you've done... This is the copper tree. Okay, now that you've got copper and whatever that other resource was, next order of business is to get, iron and crystal. And then after that is titanium and shmanamana. Wait, what? Oh. I gotta go get the friendship cube. That's what's going on. And the problem is, like, there weren't any locations to go to. There were these, like, procedurally generated looking towns. And there was, like, no rhyme or reason for their existence. You didn't go in there and find anything terribly fancy, just some scrap metal and maybe research, which really just upgraded whatever your current tech was by 1. Which is not compelling. And I think you need not only, like, options, but, like, meaningful options. Like, yeah, obviously in Subnautica, you get the higher capacity tanks. But you could go with the lightweight tank for more maneuverability and speed. It's a trade-off. And honestly, I actually wish their tech tree went deeper and more interesting. Because, yeah, and finding that stuff was cool. Also, like, in Subnautica, you find the sea moth, the cyclops, the prawn. Like, so every single one of those changes the gameplay in a very noticeable way. And, you know, then you get their upgrades and, you know, it opens it up even further. Oh, we got a thunderstorm for once outside. That's cool. Oh, damn it. Alright, whatever. Back into the main menu. Same deal. I'm very sensitive to the idea of I've done everything the game has for me to do. From here on, I'll just do it bigger. Fan of games feeding you new mechanics as you progress to keep the cycle fresh. Sort of an upscaled version of everything you've already done. Yeah. What's a good example of games that can do that? Classic action RPG terms. I prefer new dungeons to have new gimmicks, not just the same gimmicks I learned in the last dungeon. Yeah. I guess there's a couple of things. So, especially for that last point, not even classic RPG terms. That's a serious problem that most games have. You know, I guess Doom is a great example of a game. Yeah, it's a basic shooter, but the level design changes, and also you get new guns. And not only that, you upgrade your guns. And so as you go along, you have new toys to mess around with. And it's really fun. And so every level feels fresh and different because the level design is actually really, really important. But then every weapon has kind of a different gameplay style to it, and you can... Well, I mean, honestly, it forces you to use every single one of them. You kind of fall into habits. But it's definitely, like, one of those where it makes it feel better. I've been playing a game, Nova Drift, recently, which actually both does this really well and does this kind of bad, where, effectively, there's like, several really good meta builds that are... not comparatively, are, like... substantively better than each other, and so it's like a little harder to actually say like, yeah, I'm gonna go with a homing rocket build because it's so much worse. It's not that big of a deal, but it's like it's one of those where it stales a little bit just because of the way the difficulty curve is handled comparative to the upgrades. Okay, let's not screw this up this time. Don't Starve, I think, is the only game with a really boring world to explore, for the most part, that manages to keep the repetitiveness really well handled. Mainly just because you don't have time to get bored. Okay, you're not a seagull. So how come you're so different? A few days ago, as a young architect, then the field created all these brainless creatures. I don't want to break things, I want to build. Would you say you're a good architect? I think I was a great one. But to be honest, since the transformation, I only create random basic stuff. Hey, I can use random basic stuff. Woo, a new job. I was starting to go crazy here. Guess my career's back on track after all. Alright, there we go. That is the last of them. I wonder, can I just, like, no fight? Now, we're max level. There's really, honestly, no reason for me to even stick around. Let's just, do this last run here. And beat the game, actually. What other games do the progression system really well? Diablo. Diablo is an interesting mix. Very specifically, Diablo 3. So I don't know how many of you guys have played Diablo 3, but not only... So over the course of Diablo 3, not only do you unlock new abilities to mess around with... Hey, here's the other spider. Hey, dude, have you seen my beloved wife? I was busy doing Spidey stuff, and I literally got lost, and I literally lost her in the house. I'm so embarrassed. She's definitely the one with the brains. If you see her, please tell her I'm here, bro. Watch, she's waiting for me in the room next to the psychic cat. Oh, dude, thanks so much. Let's get moving. Let's see if I get a reward for this. They're both gone. Okay. Old lady has some really capricious doors. I wonder if this... But wait, you already told me that one. Alright, let's go beat this game. Okay, so I'm gonna have to avoid using the golden gun for the last boss, probably. What games do the upgrading? Oh right, Diablo 3. To some degree at least. One, you unlock more abilities as you go along, which is really, really satisfying and keeps the game feeling kind of fresh, even though ultimately you're just mowing down hordes of dudes. The other thing is like the equipment system in Diablo 3 specifically. I'm not gonna check out the closet. Oh, did I miss one? No, I already checked out the closet. That's where the spider dude was. But I remember recently we did the co-op series for Diablo 3 and I decided to play it on PC myself. Just kind of while waiting for videos to render and whatnot. That was actually a lot of fun. And I rather enjoyed it, and then I immediately started getting set items with interesting bonuses and stuff that more or less changed gameplay drastically. And obviously it really was just an arms race of numbers. But they had enough going for it that, yeah, I could keep my interest for the entire playthrough without getting terribly bored. Mostly. I like Diablo 2 better, I think, but in retrospect, I think Diablo 3 is the better game. It just... I would have almost liked it if they had taken some of those ideas and transferred them over to Diablo 3 instead. Ish? I don't know.